From our Twitter or Facebook feeds, do we have questions? Then we'll take questions from any of the students or the administrators who are here in the courtroom. Sir, would you come forward? There's a box over here I'm going to ask you to step into. I'm going to ask that you please state your name and ask your question. Ask that you please state your name and ask your question to our panel members.
Hi, I'm Jaden Montero. I'm Jaden Montero from Green Valley High School. And from what I've been hearing, a lot of the policies that we talk about that are being implemented in the status quo deal with the consequences of cyberbullying or actions that deal with things that happen after cyberbullying has occurred. And I realize that a big goal of ours is to educate the parents and to educate the students in order to prevent it in the first place. But is there any kind of policy that we can implement to jumpstart this education or to teach the parents in order to prevent having to provide consequences in the first place?
Panel? Justices? Ms. Brown.
In response to the question, I would note that last legislative session, Senator Wiener and Assemblywoman Parnell passed Senate Bill 163, implementing a new cyberbullying law, which will come into effect July 1, 2010. In addition, it addresses school district requirements to educate the educators and the schools on how to appropriately identify and respond to these types of issues in the school. So we are hopeful. There actually was a symposium yesterday on cyberbullying for the Clark County School District. That was wonderful, and I am looking forward to the additional response from the school district to address this important issue.
Thank you. Thank you. We have about 1 minute left in the Las Vegas portion of this segment. Is there anyone else in the courtroom who would like to ask a question? Yes, ma'am. Please come forward. I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. Stand in our little box, say your name first, and then pose your question.
All right. Hi, my name is Suna Amaz, and I'm also from Green Valley High School. I recently, a couple months ago, there was something written about me in a derogatory manner on Facebook, and I had filed a cyberbullying report, and months later I checked and it has yet to be addressed or removed. And I was wondering if there are measures we can take to regulate the social networking sites we have right now. If there are any legal measurements to regulate it, if we are able to provide it, then I believe we should be able to further have further measurements to regulate it.
Those on the panel who know me know that I've never said this before, but our laws just don't go far enough.
All right.
In preparing for this, Justice Sater provided us with the case of Megan in Boston, who ended up killing herself, and the people who were bullying her, the name didn't exist. There was someone named Josh. It was really 3 people. And unfortunately, Congress hasn't really taken up this whole issue in an appropriate manner, not just for kids, but for adults. You can say anything on a blog, and no one's liable for it. And I think we have to have this discussion. It has to happen in the legislature. It has to happen in Congress, that people can't, Ms. Brown talked about being anonymous. It's very hard to dig down when people say something bad about you and get to who did it. And the fact is there's no responsibility. And with the First Amendment, and I believe in the right of free speech, but with that free speech goes responsibility. The U.S. Supreme Court took this up in the issue of petitions yesterday, and maybe that will be instructive to all of us. But this is a legislative matter, and I think they have to go even further than Senator Wiener and Parnell went last time. And people who say things about you have to be sued and have to be action taken against them.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to toss the discussion now to our live courtroom in Reno. Judge Steinheimer, would you please introduce your panel?
Thank you, Justice Seda. It's our pleasure to be here in Reno. And with me today is a distinguished panel. To my right is Jolie Wicks, the Chief Deputy District Attorney for Washoe County in the Juvenile Division. Next to her is Justice of the Peace Kevin Higgins from the Sparks Justice Court. Next to him is Frank Cervantes, the Division Director for Washoe County Department of Juvenile Services. And on the end is Ryan Sullivan, the Chief Juvenile Deputy Public Defender. They are here and interested in this subject, and we thank them for participating here today with us. Justice Seda, I'd like to ask Judge Higgins to respond to this consideration first. Judge Higgins?
Thank you, Judge Steinheimer. Generally, the Justice Court, we don't have jurisdiction over juveniles, but one area where we do is where the question of whether a stalking harassment order should be issued. So commonly somebody will come to court and say they've been subject to threats and maybe even threats of physical violence, and more commonly that's happening over the internet and Facebook and Twitter accounts. So probably once a week or so, even in Sparks, I get an application from a high school student that says they're subject to a pattern of abuse or bullying, and I have to consider whether to issue an order. And if I do issue that order after a hearing, somebody for up to a year will be ordered not to have any contact with the victim, and that contact includes email, any third-party contacts, and I've more and more frequently been asked to include Facebook and Twitter on that, which I commonly do. The violation of that order is a felony. So a juvenile can be charged with a felony, and if I issue the order with the parent's name on the order as well, the parents can also be charged with that. So the potential is somebody that's 15 or 16 could either be arrested or their parents could be arrested if the law enforcement decides that that order has been violated. It's not the best tool, obviously, and Mr. Cohn's right, we need better tools, but it's a tool that the justices of the peace can issue to stop this kind of pattern. Somebody in Las Vegas said bad behavior and rudeness. Talked about that. That's true. There's no constitutional right not to have people be rude to you or be mean to you. But if it rises to the level of harassment, those orders can be issued. And unfortunately, we have to do that.
There is a question that we've received, Judge Higgins, with regard to that. Maybe you can explain a little bit more. The question came in, does the fact that someone is conducting a cyberbullying, does that have to be proven to have been libelous? In other words, does there have to be a lie in order to be prosecutable?
No. Interestingly enough, Nevada has a criminal libel statute, but that's probably a discussion for another day. This would have to be an ongoing pattern of harassment and stalking. So commonly we see hundreds of email messages or constant updates on a Twitter account, ongoing text messages. It has to be to the point where it's harassment. It doesn't have to be libelous. Threatening to hurt somebody isn't necessarily libel. So. Okay.
Ms. Wicks, I'd like you to talk a little bit about how much are we seeing in Washoe County, and how are you dealing with those processes here?
Good morning. I am the Chief Deputy District Attorney for the Juvenile Division. Earlier in my career, I saw a lot more cases that were referred to the District Attorney's Office regarding cyberbullying. We have not been seeing very many cases in Washoe County for some period of time. As a parent, I don't think that means it's not happening. I think that parents, juveniles themselves, the school district are responding to these issues in other ways other than pursuing criminal or delinquent charges for this type of behavior. We're really not seeing that many cases being referred to the District Attorney's Office in those types of instances.
And sort of a follow-up on that, we got a question coming through the internet for you about how many minors are being tried as adults in Washoe County for this type of behavior.
We have not ever moved or sought to certify anyone in Washoe County in the 10.5 years that I've been a prosecutor for behavior related to these types of issues. So it has not risen to the level in Washoe County where we are seeking to try someone as an adult.
Mr. Cervantes and Ms. Sullivan, you both deal really closely with the students. You may even be hearing about things before the prosecutor hears about it because of your interaction. Do you, Ms. Sullivan, have a comment about what you're seeing? We'll move that microphone over so you can be heard easily. Pull it back, Frank.